payments, even if it's there, because you're very lenient. At first, you say 7 days, payable in 7 days. Before the 7 days is over, your client will say, let's expand it to 15 days. And then they come back again, let's expand it, prolong it to 21 days. So the paying process changes according to the desire of the client. So there's something wrong. You're not getting your money back even after you have provided the service. Your company, the accountants who should be reminding the clients to pay, do not seem to be doing its job. So there is certainly a problem. But this is very broad, right? This is a big problem, but there are many other factors that will contribute to this problem before you can narrow it down to a well-defined problem. A well-defined problem is a question at the end. Question mark at the end. You look at this, there's a question mark at the end of a question like, to what extent has the new advertising campaign? You will assume that there is a new advertising campaign. To what extent has the new advertising campaign been successful in creating the high-quality, customer-centered corporate image that it was intended to produce? So therefore, if you have this as a broad problem area, and you have all this as additional information, what question can you do, prepare like this, so that you will have an answer to your problem? What do you need to do? So what question are you going to develop to show that you need to do something so that the customers will pay within the time that they have chosen? So if they choose a term of 1 week, then before the end, or at least at the end of 1 week, the clients start to pay. So what is your research question then? Okay? So your next step would be explore this some more, discuss the problem some more, and then start asking questions on how you can actually deal with clients not paying their services, your services on time. Okay? Discuss this. Now, whose work is this? Tony? I saw you writing this. Okay? Broad problem. Profit reduction. So you're losing? Your company is not...
My company is service. You mean service or...
You're also a service company?
Yes.
And you're not getting the profit you need, or you want to register. Because all companies would like to register profit at the end of the year. And you're saying that profit reduction, there is a problem with sales and therefore with profit. Okay? What kind of service do you provide?
It really takes management. For example, for space, for rent,
Offices for rent. And I thought it's easier to collect rent. There's no problem collecting the rent. But here, your problem is profit, it's not collection.
We service the same people with the revenue. We do the market price without our service behind. So the demand they not meet now. No need to very nicely. So I not a friend.
So you rent out spaces.
Okay, cái vấn đề nó đi cái gì này ha, nhất là cái giá cái loại dịch vụ của nó cao, khách hàng không còn nhu cầu cao hơn nữa. Ví dụ số ngân hàng này năm rồi mua rất là nhiều, họ thuê
they switch to another company, you can or they ask you to reduce the price, which you do. If you don't want to lose your client, reduce the price so that they will not move to another company.
Yes, so on a request to review the price, I am now certainly the training was sent over there. They have to request what if accepted.
What kind of offices do you assemble? Like this?
No, the right is black paint. Good. Listen,
Better than this? So you construct.
just contact the friend, the client and the cars by themselves. Just like an expression.
Oh, so you just turn over a basic structure to the client. And the client improves it, beautifies it according to their need, to their wants. Now in your case, you rent out the structure for, let's say, 300.
And so, like that,
Do they sign a contract with you?
yes.
And for how long?
Some company are 5 years.
5 years. And they are not change. They do not change the rent. They do not raise the rent for 5 years. And now you're saying that profit is reduced because you cannot impose or charge your clients the amount of rent that you really want according to the quality of your structure or building. Is that right? So that's a big problem. So high operating expenses, okay? High price, client move to cheaper areas. Department increase, and create a new department.
Yeah. They have 30 days, 60 days.
What's that? A debt increase because you take out a loan. When you construct the building or the structure that you rent out, you do it from a loan. So you continue to increase the interest, but your clients are not paying, so that your interest will be passed on to the client. So you actually take on the interest. Clients request to reduce rental price and service higher client. All clients have higher demands.
No.
Client demands service higher. Client that higher than client demands.
Yes, client demand now see we are 9, so not really together, share
So you settle with a cheaper rent. Therefore, there is a reduction in your profit. Okay, so it boils down to reduced income and therefore reduced profit, and therefore at the end of the year you have reduced revenue. So your problem is financial. Okay. So maybe you can discuss that. Who are with you in that group? Did you work together? I thought you were the ones working together.
They work together.
Three of them, three of you, who work with David and okay, who's going to report? Is this your problem? Okay, now what I want you to do is continue narrowing this down to a problem. And the next thing you will do is write your problem in question marks. Because if this is a problem, it must end in a question mark. Okay, let's take a look at the third. Problem, sales decrease. High price compared to competitors. Fake products. No more promotions. What do you mean by promotions? People promotions or product promotions? Promotion of people in the company or promoting the product outside to increase its sales. Promotion of products to customers. Okay. I have in mind, I can imagine, because when I was growing, I would see, Yakult, you know Yakult? Yakult? Now, when Yakult was introduced to the market, they had these people going around in communities with this ice chest with them, and then they carried it and they sold it at cheaper price. That's promoting the product. Or they have these free samples. In the neighborhood, they distribute free samples. That's promotion. Now this time, because of sales decrease, no promotion. Do you think it is the absence of product promotion that caused the decrease of the sales? You ask a question, narrow it down. Do not care about good customers. What do you mean by this?
Bad customer service.
Bad customer service? You have no personal touch with your customers? Weak distribution channel. Oh, your distribution is problematic. There's something wrong with product distribution. Now, what exactly is something wrong in there? What is wrong in the product distribution? Don't you have people to distribute it? Do you distribute it quite erratically? Like this week, you have the product distributed. Next week, nobody hears about your product. So there is no regularity. And therefore, people cannot develop confidence in your product because it does not appear in the market regularly. Sometimes the product is there, sometimes it is not. Okay? Low repay time. What do you mean by this? Also, they get it in, for a term payment for products. Okay? No new markets for new product. There are always new markets and there are always new products. So maybe there's something wrong and there is something that you need to do for new products. And of course, you have to do a market study. So what will be your questions when you do the market study? It's very good. You can still narrow it down until you get to writing the question. For example, how was the new packaging affected the sales of the product? So maybe when you say no new markets, it doesn't really mean new markets. Maybe you just don't have the product distribution channel. Or maybe your product has been there for a very long time and people have not seen it improve over the years. Do you know that many of the soaps we use, soap, the one you wash, they just change names. Unilever, for example, they have Axe, and Axe, you know Axe? And then later, they have a shampoo, clear shampoo. But they also have other shampoos. It's all the same. They just invent a new name. Maybe that's what is lacking in your product. It's been there for so long. It's been so old. It did not progress or change through the time. And therefore, you might also need to do a market segmentation study. Who are the buyers? Who were your clients when you first introduced the product? Maybe they were young then. They were beginning, building their families, new families. And now, their families are old, they've established, their children are already working. And your product is still the same. So the children might not want the product anymore because they see other new products. Because you did not change over the years. You stayed the same over the long period of years. So people forget. They see you, but they get tired of using the same product for the last 15, 20 years. So you might want to change the name. You might want to add a little bit more so that it becomes a new product. Or you might want to study, where are those who have been using the product? Where are they now? If they're no longer using the product, then you have to change the product and introduce it to a new market segment. So you want to introduce it to the new generation? You might want to do a repackaging of the product so that it becomes attractive to younger people. So these are all potential problems that you can work on. Okay? So you discuss this so that it becomes a well-defined research question. For example, has the new advertising message result on enhanced recall? You have a problem with sales, you do an advertising package. Has it increased the recall of your product? Has your product developed that instant recall in the minds of your target customers? Because before you introduce a product in the market, you must have a target group, your customers. Now, has the advertising package resulted on enhanced recall? Okay, another asks, how do price and quality rate in the consumer's evaluation of the product? You might have a new product, but people are not buying it. Why? Because it's very expensive. And if they get the same quality for much less, they switch to another product. So you're left with no sales. And then number 5, does expansion of international operations result in an enhanced image and value of the firm? So these are already well-defined research questions. Look at what you have done. Can you try to write down questions that can be answered by collecting data from the field? Can you just try it? The exercise, another 10 minutes.
Bây giờ vậy ha mọi người, tức là sau khi mà mình đã define hết mấy cái bắt đầu ở trên bàn mọi người có rồi thì bây giờ chúng ta sẽ pick ra một cái nào đó mà chúng ta hết ghi thành những câu hỏi. Nếu ví dụ cái của bên chị Thanh ha là chẳng hạn như cái with distribution channel đi, thì một cái câu hỏi có thể là how the with distribution channel affect to the sale of the company, for example, tức là nói chung là mình đã define rất là rõ ràng rồi, chỉ có điều là mình đang ghi ở dạng green point thôi, tức là cái idea thôi. Bây giờ mình sẽ làm cái dạng câu hỏi là chẳng hạn như with distribution channel ảnh hưởng tới sale như thế nào, bắt được là cái bắt đầu phía trên, hoặc là cái bên này của anh Đạt ha, là account are lazy to remind client to pay, thì mình sẽ ghi những câu hỏi là how account lazy attitude affect to the revenue, hoặc là affect to the time of value pay to the company, for example. Mình ghi đưa nó thành những câu hỏi, mình hay được viết là cái này đưa thành những câu hỏi. Thì mọi người tự thích ra một cái nào mình thích thì ghi một câu hỏi thôi. Một câu hỏi mình đang ghi như vậy thì cô không có link được từ cái phần này của mình lên cái phần đó là tiếp trên. Bây giờ mình gọi nó là cái gì là sẽ link ở dưới cái trên, chẳng hạn như là how a new product can affect to the sale of the company. Con sẽ là bây giờ vậy ha, ví dụ vậy là Thanh tức là sau khi chị define hết một cái đốt đầu từ cái lớn là cái sale degree đúng không, thì việc kia đây một cái yếu tố mà ảnh hưởng tới cái phần sale degree, thì bây giờ chị chọn ra một cái chẳng hạn như là fact product, một yếu tố đúng không, thì chị đặt một câu hỏi ví dụ như là how the fact product affect to the sale of the company, or how the fact product lead to the sale decrease of the company, hoặc là determine how much the fact product affect to the sale of the company, for example. Giữ câu hỏi như vậy, thì chị xác định rõ ràng là cái yếu tố này là như thế nào, chỉ hiện không nên hai cái đến ví dụ thì có ý kiến mình define một cái research question đúng không? Rồi đâu còn cái gì cô trả lời là phải viết viên nhóm mà ví dụ em viết là thử cái này là sao? Nói viết rồi này.
Okay, are you done? So, Miss River, Miss Vivian, Mary, and Steph, with William, you only have 3 groups, no? So you are how many now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 5, 5, 4. So you are 3. William, can you join this group? You will be 4. William will be part of your group. Okay? So, Miss River, you join Peter,
Yes.
Tracy, and David.
Yes.
And then Miss Mary and Miss Vivian, you join Kevin, Andrew, Tony, and the 2 ladies at the back. So you will be 5. Okay? Okay now? Thank you. I got this picture from the little girl. Really? Sorry, very cute. Thank you. Okay, so let's continue. I will leave you to discuss that until tomorrow. So maybe after our class today, you can continue your discussion so that we can continue to move on. Let's start with, okay, let me see. Just checking. Is the assignment clear to you? I need the assignment tomorrow. Because before I leave, I want to see if you can construct the questions. Okay? The questions are just like this. They must end in question mark. Because the problem in a research will always end in a question mark. So, we move on to the next chapter. Is that clear to all? You know your group already. So let's move to, still very long. Okay? Now this one is the critical literature review. I always tell my students, I teach research in graduate school in the university, both for the master's level and for the doctoral level. So I teach them all, and I always start saying that you cannot do research if you do not read the literature. Because your problem, your questions can be sourced from reading the literature. Of course, you have your company, you have your problems. You can always have your research from experience. But experience alone will not tell you how to go about finding the answers to your problems. It's only in reviewing the literature that you will be guided on what the variables are, how you frame the hypothesis, and even how you frame your questions. So you have to read the literature. I know you do it. Where do you source your literature? From books, from journals, from magazines, from the internet, from conferences, okay? From publication of works done by other people. Okay, so this chapter is about Yes. Sure.
Này là em biết họ có nghe chị coi thử một số cái question, cái research question xong.
No. Who made this?
I make it for them.
No, you cannot make it.
No, just for example for them to see.
Does Lake's attitude of accountants lead to the late payment of clients? Oh, that is a question, but that is not a carefully crafted question. Okay, so maybe that is a question, but it's not a researchable question. Okay. So that will be part of what you will discuss. You will start asking the questions. Okay? Any question? You know, the problem in research, they say, is you do not know the problem. And that's the real problem of doing research. You don't know the problem, and therefore you cannot start doing any research. But let us see. You have a critical review of literature. Maybe by reading, you have your own area of expertise. Some of you are into sales, some of you are into marketing, some of you are into management, some of you are into construction. You have all different areas of identity, of expertise. But you're also interested in many different things. The source of many researches are these two: your expertise and your interest. Don't look too far. What you're interested in can be your area of research. What you're expert in can be the source of your problem, because if you're expert in accounting or in finance, then you should see if there's any problem in the finance area of your operations. So these are the two sources of doing your review: your expertise and your interest. If you're not interested in something, don't bother, because you will have no motivation to read and work on it. So start asking yourself, what is my interest? What do I want to do? And then where am I good at? What are you good at? Are you good in sales? For example, let me see. Marketing service. Peter does marketing. Okay? So if that's what you are good in, and your area is marketing, look at marketing as a big area of a problem. There must be a lot of questions in marketing that research can answer and address. Then sales, security, for example, particularly. Service is security. And Doris, for example, is the sales manager. River is education. Good. Andrew is education. Trading, consumer goods. David. So you're good at that. That's your area of interest as well. Trading must be a very big area. And what part of trading is your area of interest? What is your interest? The most part in trading that you find interesting. That can be your beginning. Then you have Henry, oil and gas equipment. That is your that's your expertise. But what is your area of interest in gas and oil equipment? Is it in the fabrication? Is it in the sales? Is it in collecting? So where? Fabrication? Sales? So service also. Then customer service is something that you might want to study. It may not always show, but if you take a look at what you do and what you're interested in, you will come to a point when you will find a specific area that you can do research on. That